Your landlord cannot just barge in and knock on your door and say, I want to enter. No, 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 no. We thought they were Nigerian cockroaches that you would just use insecticide. These cockroaches will be looking at you like this. You will spray that in and they will pass in front of you. When we moved to Canada over 3 years ago, I had no idea that housing was going to be one of the hardest parts of our experience here. What we're thinking was that we'll find a place, we'll settle down, and continue our life normally. But we had no idea of things we were going to experience during that period. So today I'm going to be sharing 10 things I wish someone told me before renting an apartment in Canada. And I can assure you that by the end of this video, you'll be more prepared. The first thing is that you should have enough money to cover for at least 3 months of rent. Before you even say you want to start looking for apartments, you have to have that amount of money on standby. The truth that has to be told is that as a new immigrant, landlords are very skeptical about renting out their apartment to you because you have no rental history here. You have no former landlord that they can call and you don't have any Canadian pay stub. It was easier for us when we rented our second apartment because now the landlord had information about us that our previous landlord did not have. In our own case, we had to pay 3 months upfront with 1 more security deposit, in total 4 months of rent. It was like around $1,000 at that time. So it means we paid like $4,000. But because we already made that plan when coming to Canada that at least we'll be able to pay rent just in case we did not get job on time, this made us have a little soft landing. The second thing is to know where to look and exactly what you are looking for. I don't know if other provinces might be a little different, but here in Alberta, some of the places people use is Rent Faster, Kijiji, and Facebook Marketplace. Back in Nigeria, the way people used to talk about Facebook, we say, hey, Facebook. Who even uses Facebook? It's only elderly people that use Facebook. I cannot trust anything on Facebook. My perspective about it changed when I moved here to Canada. When we wanted to move out of our first apartment because our lease was still running and we had little issues, they put up that apartment for rent. I was the one that took all the pictures and posted them on Facebook Marketplace. I had over 1,500 messages. My phone was hot. In fact, I was like, who sent me to do this? I had no idea that people were really looking for accommodation that bad. After knowing what you want, you confirm the type of building and what is included. The best thing to do is to have a mental checklist at the back of your mind of things you want to be in the apartment you want to rent out. I know maybe you can say, oh, beggar has no choice. You're just going to go for something that is available. But I think there is no big deal in knowing the exact thing you want. After all, it's not free. You're going to be paying for it. First thing is, do you want a basement? Some people don't like basement at all. Some people say it's always too cold. And some people don't mind it at all. Do you want a 1-bedroom apartment? Do you want all these high-rising towers? Do you want a bungalow? Do you want a duplex? The second one is the type of parking. Some people don't mind parking outside, like on the streets, but some are very particular about having an underground parking. Some are particular about having heated garage. I can remember that the first apartment we rented then, it had an underground parking, but it was a very big one and there was no heat there. And because our car did not have any heater, you know, if it was all those garages that had it, I will say, thank God we are here. It's like you'll be feeling the cold till you get into the building. But when we got to the second apartment we rented, it was underground heat. Another thing to look out for is the utilities. There are some buildings that will say that all bills are inclusive. Like for our first apartment then, all bills were inclusive, the water, the heat. But when we moved to the second apartment, heat was included, water was included, but electricity was not included. And now, one thing that I don't want you to learn the hard way, especially someone that really loves cooking in the kitchen, is the kitchen. At that time, we did not know that the cooker had issues. You know, this cooker that used to have rings. The people were familiar with this. In as much as I did not have issues with a cooker that has all those rings, the issue I had was that everything was already spoiled. Anytime we want to cook and you switch on the burner like this, different smells will be coming out like as if something is burning. And let me now even burst your bubble. Only 2 cookers could work at the same time. If you switch on 2 cookers and you switch on the oven, the whole electricity in the house will just go off. It will just strip. You will now be looking for the janitor Please come and help us. Research the neighborhood before you sign anything. As much as the indoors is important, the environment is also important. Because if a neighborhood is not right for yourself, I'm telling you, you will be miserable till you move out of that neighborhood. We lived in downtown quite all right. It made me realize that downtown is not really a residential place. It's just like a survivor place for people that are just moving. It was so busy, it was so rough, it was so dirty. We were on the sixth floor. The room will be so hot, and when you try to open your windows, you'll be inhaling different smell of people that were outside smoking, drinking. It was not a palatable experience. It's funny now, but it was so exhausting at the time. What I would advise is the best time to go is in the night. Check the neighborhood, how loud it is, what are the activities going on. So if you know you want to live in the main city, and if you want to live in the suburbs too, confirm how it looks like. I'm not saying you should be loitering around, but you can just drive around or take a walk around just to have an idea of how it's going to look like on the outside. Another thing to watch out about the location is how close it is to your amenities, especially if you want to go for grocery runs, if you want to go to the park, if you want to go to the clinic, especially during the period when you don't have your own vehicle. It just makes it easy. That was one of the reasons why we're grateful for having somewhere in downtown at the time. It was close to other stores that we could just walk to. It's not like as if it was close, but it was like 15 to 20 minutes walk. I remember that we just push the stroller with my 2-year-old at that time. My husband and I would just take a walk. My legs will be aching, but I'll tell myself that as long as my daughter is feeling comfortable, we are fine. And this would help. And during that time, I was very slim. See now, see my cheeks and my neck now. Maybe because I'm no longer walking around anymore. Read and understand your lease before you sign it. Because we did not do this, it almost cost us tens of thousands of dollars. What happened to us then was that when we ended that lease, we were really looking for accommodation, but we didn't get. When we couldn't get, we asked them that if we signed the lease and we decide to move, can we bring somebody? They said no problem. When we now got accommodation a month after, that was when I posted the pictures of the apartment on Facebook Market and people were coming around. Can you believe that this management just kept turning down everybody we brought, kept giving one reason or the other? And they said that as long as nobody was there, we'll be paying rent for that place and the place where we're moving to. That it's not their business what happens there. How were we going to get money? We had to reach out to an acquaintance that was a lawyer, but we didn't really get positive response, and it was a lot for us. I can't remember what my husband did, but I know that my husband tried his best, and eventually we were able to only pay around 1,500 as compared to paying over $10,000 at that time. So please ensure that you read the list very well and you understand it very well before signing it, so that if anything happens, you know that you'll be able to say, this is my right. I know my right and I'm going to stand by it. Now, when you've moved in, you can say, oh, this place is so beautiful and I'm going to start living there. But before you do that, please document the way you met that apartment before you move in. We were very excited. We're finally gotten somewhere. So we did not really check all the things we're meant to check. Like the cooker that I talked about, we didn't check. Like some little things that are spoiled here and there. And that's the essence of the security deposit that they are collecting from you. So that if anything spoils, they'll be able to say, oh, this thing spoiled, we're taking it from your money. When it was now at the point of getting our security deposit back, we were even in a deficit. When we now got to the second apartment, we've already learned from our mistakes. We checked everything thoroughly. This landlord, in fact, what he did was he gave us a form. So on this form, he told us to fill out everything that we thought had issues, that he would first come to try and fix them. But anything he's unable to fix, he would not subtract that from our security deposit. And I think we're able to get like 80% of our security deposit back. And we stayed there for almost 2 years. You can see what I'm saying. So when we filled this form, we also made a copy on our own. I'm not saying that the landlord will lie, but to be forewarned is to be forearmed. It's better for you, after filling the form, snap it before you give it to the landlord so that you people can compare it. Now, know your tenant rights. There's no reward for ignorance. So currently, from my research, tenant rights are governed on provincial levels. It means that if you're in Alberta, Ontario, New Brunswick, they might differ slightly. But some of the examples are that your landlord cannot just barge in and knock on your door and say, I want to enter. No, 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 no. It is against the rule because you are the one paying. You've already signed the lease. It is your property temporarily. They have to inform you before coming. My landlord at that time would just drop a text message for me and say, can I come so time? Will you be home? They have to take permission from you before they come to that house. Landlord cannot just decide that I want to raise your rent, when your lease is still going on. They can tell you that, okay, when your lease expires so time, the rent is going to be increased. Are you interested or not? But during that lease period, you are still going to be paying the exact amount that you started with. If anything spoils within that building, it is the responsibility of your landlord. In our first apartment, it was our responsibility, but they were very slow. But when we moved to the second apartment, I can remember that one day I was trying to use the dryer and it stopped. This man, I just messaged him and he went to the store and brought another one. It is their responsibility. As long as you are paying your rent, you are eligible to enjoy the services that comes with paying it. Go to the tenancy website for the province in which you are in so that you can be able to know your rights and know what you can stand for before signing the lease, because I did not have all this information. Most of these things, it was when we were having issues that we started researching to know our rights. Now, ask about pest history. It might seem like a minute thing. I will start with my experience first. When we moved to that apartment, we didn't know that it was infested with cockroaches. Hey, hey, hey. Cockroaches showed us pepper. There is no insecticide we did not buy. We thought they were Nigerian cockroaches that you would just use insecticide. These cockroaches will be looking at you like this. You will spray that in and they will pass in front of you. And the funny thing is that they will not be flying around. It was terrible. We reached out to them. They said, hey, they used to do fumigation. They will come. They kept procrastinating. By the time they came, I can remember that we had to pack all our loads and we had to put them on the countertop, like basically emptying everywhere, our wardrobes, our cupboards in the kitchen, as if we are just packing into a new house. And I could not work on that day as well because you cannot inhale these chemicals. Guess what? After a few weeks, the cockroaches were back. I'm sure that when we packed to the new apartment at that time, we took cockroaches along with us, but they could not survive in that place because that place did not have any pest issues. I also remember that online, so people were talking about having bed bug issues in this Canada as well. So if there is a way to confirm, that's what I'm saying, you can research. Because I know that when we moved out of the apartment that had cockroaches, we gave them some review. So you can check to see, especially buildings that are not managed by landlords themselves. You'll be able to get lots of information. Just type it and see if you can get as many information as possible, or you can even ask from the landlord or the agency. Now, to private landlord versus property management. I will say this based on experience. Landlord is better than property management because I've experienced both. During that time, I noticed that when we had issues, when we were using property management, it's like as if they put robots there. You will be complaining about the same thing and they will be giving you the same answer over and over and over with no emotions, nothing. If they said yes today and you ask them tomorrow, they'll still say yes. You can ask from people around, depending on the area you are, that have rented out apartments, that, okay, in this area, do you think property management is better than having a landlord? So people also don't have good experiences with landlords. Well, I would say I'm not sure if it's the same with Nigeria. I know in Nigeria, sometimes you can be living in the same house with your landlord and you feel like the landlord is all over your space and you want some privacy. But I'm not sure it's the same way here because most of these landlords here, they also have where they are living. They are just only leasing out this place. If you're not living in a shared apartment, you have the house to yourself. I don't think having a landlord is going to be an issue. Finally, about the moving costs, you have to also factor this in. Yes, when you just move to Canada, you might not really have a lot of moving costs, but imagine you are moving from one place to another with your stuff. I would just say that you factor that in as well. Like for example, when we moved to the second apartment, I think we had to pay like $250 deposit to use the elevator. And they said that if we spoiled anything, if we scratched anything, half was security deposit and half was non-refundable. So you also have to factor that in. Also for the vehicle that will help you to carry your load, factor that in as well. And aside from the moving costs, things that you're going to need in that apartment, because I know that some apartments here, they're actually inclusive. I'm serious, that they would have couch, they will have TV. All you have to do is just come with your purse and your bag. People that I know that are living that life, they're enjoying, it's a very good thing. But in a situation whereby it's going to be a bare building, you still have to buy some things. I can remember when we just got to Canada, and my husband and I, we spent like $700 at Walmart trying to get little things. And we were like, what? And dollar then was like 500 naira to $1. We were like, see how much we spent. Yes, eventually you might not have to spend too much, but it's advisable that you just plan ahead and have all these monies available with you so that you don't get stranded. And so you're able to choose the best. We learned some of these lessons the easy way, and we learned some of them the hard way. But now that I've told you, you don't have to learn any of them the hard way. If this video helped you, or you have someone that is moving to Canada or someone that is currently in Canada, you can share it with them so that they can learn 1 or 2 lessons from this video. And if you have your own renting experience, you can share the good, the bad, the ugly, share everything. It would also help someone. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.